Good afternoon, everyone. It's Father Neil. It's Thursday, February 11th. My weekly update. February 11th is the celebration of Our Lady of Lourdes, when the Blessed Mother appeared to a French girl in 1858, and since then Lourdes has been a sanctuary for healing, both some physical healings and certainly many, many spiritual healings. So that is a feast of the church, and certainly, while we're probably not going to go to France anytime soon, we should certainly pray for physical and spiritual healing, both of our nation and of our city. Certainly the physical part of the COVID virus and the healing of all of our divisions, particularly with the partisanship that's going on in Washington right now over the impeachment trial. It will certainly polarize the country even further, regardless of what happens. So let's simply continue to pray for unity and for peace and a return to civility. Certainly we have good news here in Illinois and in Chicago in that the positivity rates have been going down and things are opening up a little bit. Good news for all of us really is that the schools have agreed to, the CTU has agreed to a contract or agreed to opening the schools with CPS so that our public school children will be returning to school, and that's good for all of us. They need to be in-person learning, they need to be in classrooms, they need to be with their friends, and certainly the parents need to be relieved of the burden of having to either go to work or watch their children for e-learning. So that's a good thing, slow but sure, but that's a very good thing for all of us because that makes the nation and the city a healthier place to be. So all those are going on. There's not a lot of new things going on in the parish. One thing I will say about the vaccine, because several people have asked about it. So in the original research for the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines, evidently in the original research, some aborted fetus cells were used in the scientific research. And so the question has arisen, is that legitimate, or are we cooperating with abortion if we take the vaccine? Both the Pope and the Cardinal have taken the vaccine and said it is a good thing to do. It's such a remote thing. There's no fetal tissue in any of the vaccines themselves. And they've said, and the Bishops' Conference has also put out something about this, saying that the remote cooperation of the fact that this was used long ago doesn't affect what's going on today and the great good it will do by protecting the common good today. So if you've had some moral questions about receiving the vaccine, I hope this will put your mind to rest. I know the rollout has not been as good as we'd like, but we are making progress with that. The teachers are in line to get vaccinated, not just the public school teachers, but all of our private school teachers as well. So that will go very well for all of us. Here in the parish, of course, well, throughout the world, we're beginning Lent next Wednesday. Ash Wednesday will be a little different here in the Archdiocese due to COVID. The ceremony will be the same, the liturgy will be the same, but just like we don't actually touch and make the cross and the sign of the forehead for anointings, we won't be doing that for ashes. We'll be doing that with either a cotton ball or a Q-tip. We'll be experimenting with the ashes a little bit later to see what works best, but the service will be the same. So you can look in the bulletin of the website, but we'll have masses at 8:30 a.m. and 7 p.m. with distribution of ashes. But instead of having a prayer service at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the church will be open from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. simply for reception of ashes. You do have to register for all these events because of safety considerations and spacing and timing so we don't get overcrowded. And that is all on the website, or call the rectory if you need to do that. So that's Ash Wednesday, beginning our 40-day journey. We'll be putting out next week to the parents for the First Communion and First Reconciliation families, the First Reconciliation service, and then they'll, of course, come to church on the 20th for individual reconciliations. We're preparing for confirmation on the 12th and 13th of March, and we'll have the rite of enrollment for the First Communion class on February 28th, a Sunday at a special Mass. So the sacramental prep is continuing, and of course throughout Lent, that's the time when our RCIA candidates go deeper into their spiritual journey. So we'll be having a rite of acceptance on the Sunday the 21st, and then they'll have the scrutinies the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Sundays of Lent, and of course receive the sacraments of the Easter Vigil. We do have the Easter schedule finalized for the Triduum, and you can see that in the bulletin on the website. Quite briefly, we will have Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday Easter Vigil services at 7 p.m. as normal. They will be videoed and hopefully live streamed, and so they will be available. Again, the same limitations on space apply, and we will be having Easter Day Masses on Sunday, Easter April 4th, at 9 o'clock and 11:30. Very similar, the same schedule actually we had for Christmas, and we will have the Masses overflow in the hall if there are enough people that want to come and sign up. So sign up first. It's not open for Easter yet for sign-ups, but it will be probably 2 weeks or so before Mass. Before Easter. Palm Sunday will take place as normal. We will have a distribution of palms, but we will not be having the normal procession and all of that because of spacing and health considerations. So those guidelines have all come down from the Archdiocese. So we'll also be starting fairly soon, all the parishes and schools will, the budgeting process for next year. I believe I mentioned last week that we will budget St. Robert Bellarmine Parish, St. Robert Bellarmine School separately. St. Constance will do the same, and then once the merger takes place, the unification takes place, we'll figure out how that may look. We are still, of course, waiting for the Cardinal to name a pastor. As I've said, I have certainly applied for that, and hope to hear soon. And then we can, once that happens one way or the other, we can start actually planning how to implement this new phase. At the same time, continuing to be St. Robert Bellarmine and St. Robert Bellarmine School here until the end of the year. So we're looking obviously to the fall, and we're looking forward to actually opening the school back to normal for full in-person learning. At least that's the hope right now. Clearly, we'll have to see how the pandemic and the vaccine rollouts affect that. So we are encouraging enrollment into the school for now. Early registration has begun. We'd like to get the school back to where it was before the COVID, and certainly we'll continue to do all the safety and health and cleaning procedures necessary. We're trying to keep costs down as much as we can, and so we'll have hopefully some more information about that, probably not till later in the spring. But all that stuff is going on, progressing quite nicely as we do every year. And so basically that's what's been going on. We continue to meet with the Archdiocese and the Deanery on a regular basis to get this information about COVID, to get this information about liturgy, to get all these other things that we're doing. Our e-learning, I-learning, whatever the actual test results have been extremely good. Our school is doing very, very well, well above the norm. Catholic schools, in spite of the pandemic, are above the national norms by substantial figures for both reading and for math. And so we have a lot to be proud of. Our teachers have been working very, very hard, as all the staff in the school have, to make that possible, and they deserve a lot of thanks for that. Saw a video the other day at one of our meetings of one of our principals who basically said that they were able to switch strides just like we were, and that they weren't trained as teachers to do both what they call synchronous learning, in person and online at the same time, but they've adapted very well, and our test scores do reflect that. So kudos to all the teachers and staff. In fact, the Archdiocese set up a fund, and donors have contributed enough money to give every full-time faculty member in the school and staff a $250 bonus, and that's actually will be grossed up for taxes for them. So not a lot of money, and certainly they don't make anywhere near what their public school counterparts do, but at least that's a little bit something in this hard time as a token of our appreciation, and certainly all of our prayers, gratitude, and support, and anything we can do to support our school and our staff is deeply appreciated. Another group that doesn't really get recognized too often, although Father Scott thanks them personally at the Masses every time he presides, is for our volunteers. We've got a small group of people who continue to show up day in, day out when needed to sanitize the church, to register people, to wash their hands and so sanitize their hands and so forth. And it's really a yeoman's work. In fact, we had another funeral this morning. So these same folks are in need of some help. Even though the situation is getting better, it would be nice to have some more volunteers, and not simply to take the course, the 1 hour video, but to actually commit to showing up. And we've been lacking in that quite a bit, and I don't think that bodes well for our future as a parish if we're talking about the esprit of Robert de Bellarmine and what a great place we are. Now, I do realize that a lot of people are scared and they are at high risk, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and of course people do work. Some people even work on Saturday night or Sunday, but the vast majority of us can find at least 1 hour a week to come and show up. to help out if we can. And so that would be important. As I said, and have said the last couple of weeks, the Sunday contributions are way down. I know that we're going to be doing the second week of pledging for the annual Catholic Appeal, and it's a very worthwhile thing to do. And you can look on the website and in the bulletin and get the information and make a direct donation either online, or you can actually text it on your phone now, or simply write a check and mail it to the Annual Catholic Appeal at the downtown office. So those are all good things, but the parish is also in need of support. Our collections are down the last couple of months, and while some people have been generous, and I know many others can't be because of their financial situations due to the COVID and other job situations, that if those who can would do so, it would really help to get some increased donations. Finally, something to be aware of, simply because of the tax season that's coming upon us. There's been a huge amount of fraud in filing for unemployment comp. People have been stealing Social Security numbers and filing on behalf of people. We've had it happen to several people in the parish, and it's really important to stay vigilant if your employer reports that, and report it back to make sure that it is a fraudulent claim, and so the money won't get paid out or can be recovered. And from a perspective of an individual, if fraudulent unemployment claims are paid out in your name, you will get taxed for it by the government, whether you're aware of it or not. So trying to undo that will be a major nightmare. So if you're still employed, it does pay to watch that as well. And as tax season approaches, I would invite everybody to consider looking to either their accountants or reviewing things. There are a lot of changes in the tax code. It's kind of my financial background. I'm looking at some of that in my own life. It is complicated, and I don't believe, from at least at the moment, that the IRS is extending the filing deadline this year as they did last year. So not really a spiritual thing from your pastor, but just kind of some advice about what I've seen out there. So thanks for all your attention. I see by the counter I've already gone 12 minutes. So happy Valentine's Day this Sunday. Show your love, take care of one another, and remember that it is our families that are our most important possession. We having each other, biological families, our extended families, and certainly our parish family and our neighbors and our friends. So let's keep all of each other in prayer, and I wish you a very blessed week. Stay warm, stay dry, and stay safe. God bless you all.